So let's just have a look through how we go about setting a question in using Reflect. So the first thing is you're going to hit the question bank. You'll see a drop down menu where you can choose from one of those. I don't know whether 15 questions, however many it was, you choose one of those 15. You only ask one question per post, per poll, although you might say, I'm going to set 3 all to be done, on a certain day or whatever to get the breadth. It's up to you how many questions you want to ask. As I was saying, that privacy setting is there. You've got the choice of 2 settings. The children get to see the overall results or they don't. As a teacher, you will get the individual approach. You can see what everybody's answered, of course, so you know if Simon's feeling particularly angry or Imran's feeling very positive about something. You'll see all that individual kind of response. Now, because this is a poll in class teams, you can set a duration. The maximum duration is 1 week. So if you were doing a weekly check-in, then you'd probably set that to 1 week. If you had a rule or a kind of a general understanding that we always do this on a Friday, you might set it for an 8 hours. It becomes available on that Friday and they finish it, or they're expected to respond in that time. So there's a range of different times, but the maximum one to bear in mind is a week. So you'd kind of refresh this fairly frequently. You obviously get to preview the question. You can see the very kind of graphical nature of it, in that there's just some simple kind of Likert scales with emojis on it. So it is designed to be easy for younger children, just perhaps using the emoji and not worrying about some of the words behind it. And then once you've set your question, the duration, privacy, etc., you click send, and then that will go in the chat for that particular class team, depending on which channel you're posting it in. Okay, so when you've posted your reflection question, this is what the children see. Basically, they'll go into the class team, they'll get this post. It will just explain what the privacy setting is that you've chosen, whether they'll see the overall results or not. Obviously, this is quite a wordy question, and they will choose their picture, emoji response, and then if they want to add a word to go with it. If the younger children, you may not be wanting to go down the word route. Again, it would be nice if they could click and have these read out. That doesn't work, so they could just do a picture and click done, or they could choose a word and click done. So this is the question that they're being asked to reflect upon. They can use the drop down to choose their emoji response. They can then go into this more granular response, because there might be several children who have got a kind of a happy face or a medium face or an angry face, and it could be for lots of different reasons. So this is where you can kind of build up the vocabulary. It'll take some time. Pensive, that's quite an advanced word maybe to use when you might want to discuss with children what these different words mean. But it could be a good way of developing their social and emotional learning vocabulary. Now, each child also gets a chance to look at their responses over a period of time. So if you are asking a question on a regular basis, how are you feeling? What's your learning been like? Whatever that question was. Basically, they get a journal that tracks the same question that you ask over a period of time. So obviously, this is not a very long period of time. I've asked this question twice, and you can see you get a little graph of the emotion of, oh, they were so-so and now they're happy. But if you ask this question 10 times over a period of 10 weeks, they would get a graph showing their emotional state over a period of time, and you also get some insight yourself as to how things are going. So that's called their kind of journal to track their different responses. So once you've set the question, the children have responded, you'll probably want to look at what are those responses, and you'd start by clicking on the explore button. When you create one of these polls, you get a little explore button. That's only available for the teacher. If it shows for the children, well, it will show for the children, but nothing will happen when they click on it. You have to be a teacher in the team to be able to explore. And you get these kind of responses. So you'd have the children listed in here against all the different responses. So it's like just a bar chart. You might have 10 children like this, 4 children like that. And what you can do is click and drill down. So if you want to have a look at this group a bit more, you click on it. It would show you what all the children who have responded with that particular emoji, and if they've chosen a word, it'll show what it is. And you can also, build up their previous reflections as well. So it's quite a visual tool, quite quick and easy to use, where you can explore the responses, see the whole class, and drill down into individual responses. These ones here haven't responded yet, so that just tells you, if there's a number of pupils not engaging with this particular process, it may be you want to have a quiet word with them or make sure they understand how to fill it in, and so on and so forth. And then finally, you get this Insight app, which will be helpful for you over a period of time, where you might want to have a monthly review, or depending on the frequency of questions, a more regular review about how things are going with your pupils. And this Insight app view allows us to filter out all the other activity. So we're just looking at Reflect in this Insight view, rather than a number of assignments completed or anything like that. So we just filter for Reflect, and then we can select a time frame. It may be a day, or it may be a week, depending on how many responses you've got. And then once you've filtered that, you can hover over a line, and you can see this child's filled out 5 polls. It just gives you a very quick kind of overview when you hover over it to see that individual child. And you'll notice the different colors. That's kind of related to a traffic light response. So the greener they are, the more positive they are. When you see the orange and red lines coming, there's quite a few negative responses there. That might help you just perhaps spend a bit of time with those children or that child, trying to dig in about how they're feeling about various things. That might be useful for a busy teacher. And the length of the line just shows you how many responses they get. So if they're doing very short lines, it may be, they've only responded to 1 or 2 questions, or a longer line, you've asked lots of questions. So it gives you quite a lot of information as a teacher, which hopefully you can analyze relatively quickly without having to spend ages looking through a spreadsheet or anything like that. You can just quickly find, what are my main concerns, and what kind of emotions are associated with those concerns.